It is Friday, and I am tired of being substantive and an adult and all of that stuff, so I'm not going to do that. I am just going to kick around funny headlines with my funny friends to celebrate the close of the week. Now, a couple of things. If you are new to the program, I do substantive stuff on my podcasts on the Political Orphanage. We talk about important things, and on Alienating the Audience, we talk about even more important things because it's a sci-fi podcast. But right now, we're just going to be kicking around funny stuff. So this isn't salad. This is dessert. Now, if you're listening to the program regularly and you're already familiar with this, I should tell you that we're also recording this on YouTube this week because I am very handsome and I have lots of interesting outfits. And so I thought I would really deprive people if I didn't show them that. And so I am, at this time, going to put this on YouTube as well. We'll see if it works. We'll try it out. So know that that is available to you, and I will send out links to everybody on Patreon, and it's just there to find for everybody else. And I am joined today by Andrew Young and Nick Sperdute. Welcome, Andrew Young and Nick Sperdute.
Hello.
Hi.
Hayden, we all know that this is not for YouTube. What it's really for is your OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
And by the end of the broadcast, that smoking jacket will be off.
That's right. Technically, it's a dressing gown, but yes, I agree with you. That is probably going to happen at some point. And I should note that both of you have I think are, depending on when I drop this, both of you have been on Alienating the Audience, the sci-fi podcast this week. Nick and I do Vagabonding, which is sketch comedy that we do within a sci-fi world, and I won't tell where we time traveled back to. However, Nick and I actually time traveled to the distant past on a recent comedy sketch.
Very recent.
Yeah. And then Young, you and I and our erstwhile friend Jennings discussed in science fiction what would happen if Nazis had won the war.
Yeah, the fatherland.
Yeah, father. And I should say we were all against it. Just so everybody's clear on this, all of us thought it was a bad thing. Like we did a straw count, and 3 out of 3 agreed it was good that Hitler lost.
I will say we were worried about being a hung jury for about 4 hours, though.
Yeah. Great, guys. Well, I'm excited to kick around some funny headlines with you. These are good this week. I'm impressed with these. So you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
From California, the state that Young and I are currently in, Ponzi scheme suspect uses underwater scooter to try to evade the FBI. A fleeing Ponzi scheme suspect dove into a frigid Northern California lake with an underwater scooter before FBI agents waited him out to make the arrest on Monday. Matthew Piercy, 44, has been indicted on 31 felony counts, including wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, witness tampering, a bunch of different things. And without reading the entire story for you, what my understanding is what happens is he embezzles a ton of money. Does all of this stuff to, cover his tail.
Classic.
And then high-speed car chase with the FBI, drives to the lake, I don't remember what lake it is, but drives to this lake in Northern California, runs out of his car, dives into the water, and they're like, where'd Matthew go? But they can see bubbles. Like, they can see bubbles coming up from where he went, and so they just wait. And during this time, he is literally getting an underwater scooter operable so that he can zip to the other side of the lake, where I assume that there was already like a go-kart waiting for him or something like that. But when that happens, though, there's already FBI people waiting for him because they're watching the bubbles. So they pull him out of the soup, arrest him, and my favorite part of this is they call his wife and tell her if she can bring dry clothes before they take him to prison. and so they did. They took him to prison. They escorted him to prison. And my thoughts on this are textbook example of a flight risk. Textbook example of a flight risk. Like I would love, because his attorney had to make the case for bail. Like he had to talk to a judge and be like, Your Honor, how many underwater scooters could he possibly have? You should give him bail, and he's been denied bail.
I don't know if he is a flight risk, and I think I disagree, because it seems like he heads to landlocked bodies of water to get away. So, I mean, it's literally like this guy saw Thunderball and didn't realize that it took place next to the ocean, so he set up the same plan but by a lake.
I like that strategy of like, Your Honor, excuse me, can I just... He's really dumb. He's probably not. He was like, he got caught, then he fled. Like, just let him. It's going to be easier on everybody.
I like the idea that was his wife saying that.
Yeah, his wife.
Your Honor, I
Your Honor,
married
permission
him.
to
It's
approach
been
the
5
bench.
years. I gotta be honest. My husband's an idiot.
Yeah.
He knew but didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Okay. The other weird thing, like whenever you read these stories, he's clearly an energetic, clever guy, right? Like he's, at the very least, he's energetic. This is a man that either doesn't need Red Bull or drinks a lot of Red Bull. But I think he's operating at a level most of us require cocaine to be at, and I'm just like, just convert that into not illegal activity, and you'd still be making $300,000 a year.
Heaton, there is no way this guy doesn't do cocaine to get where he's at.
That's probably
That's a
No
good
way.
point. That's a good point. I've never embezzled several $1 million before, but if I did, I would celebrate. I've never done cocaine either, but if I did embezzle, I would do cocaine. And I theorized that if I tried cocaine, I would embezzle.
Here's the thing. I don't understand sending this guy to prison. I mean, does creativity count for nothing anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This guy's clearly a creative guy. Just put him to work somewhere. Blue collar or white collar crimes, that's what it is. Where they just, they talk to a guy in prison and they get his idea to catch other people in prison. That's my theory.
Yeah, but Nick, it's not like he succeeded. It's not like
Well,
he's
the
able to
getaway
go get-
he didn't succeed in.
Well,
But he succeeded in embezzling for a long time, clearly. I mean, yes,
Well-
that's an interesting story to tell people in prison. It's like, yeah, let me tell you how I tried to get away. You're
So-
never going to believe this shit.
So your proposal is, because of his ridiculous scheme, that he should be giving Frank Abagnale Jr. speeches around college campuses and TED Talks?
Yes, I think that's fair.
Okay, wait. So before I go on to the next one, because we all three know each other. We're all mutually friends. Okay, well, we all know each other, but two of us are friends.
Whoa.
I'm not going to specify. You guys like each other, and I don't like you. That's the dynamic here.
Yeah, that's good.
So since we all know each other, if we had to guess, if somebody called us and went, "Hey, Andrew Young has been arrested. Can you come to the courthouse?" Like, Nick, what do we think he would have been arrested for, and for everybody else?
This better
Well, I
be good.
assume it would have started with, "Can you please bring dry clothes?" as well. I can imagine that would have been the beginning of it.
Yeah. They call me and they're like, "Listen, we know this guy's not married, but like we figured that you might have access to some jeans that fit him." And I'm like, "Was it an underwater scooter?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, you don't have to tell me anymore. It was clearly embezzling. Underwater scooter, dry clothes. Like I could do math here. It's embezzling then."
I've heard this story before.
Because
Yeah.
I would have learned from this article.
Yeah. Young, what do you reckon if we got a call for Sperdute? I figure murder. I would just be like, it's murder, right?
I feel like after hours breaking into a Discovery Zone or a Chuck E. Cheese. Just for
If
the
those
novelty of
DZ
it.
Discovery Zones were still there, absolutely. That was the shit, man. I love DZ. Discovery Zone. Big fan. I'd sing the whole thing.
One time, way back, so I hosted a show called Mostly Weekly, and Sperdute was involved in the early stages of it, and we were shooting it. We were working for a company called Bold, and we were operating out of some like random place that had a garage door, and I don't remember how we did it, but we broke the shit out of that garage door. We broke it and like
you and me.
we couldn't get it to stop. It was like smoking.
We were
Do you remember
nervous.
how
We
stressed
thought
I
it
was
was
about
going to
that?
catch fire.
Yeah,
you
we were really
nervous.
seriously worried that we were going to actually burn this thing down. So I could see a situation like that where Nick had tried to fix something for a friend and ended up committing arson. That's what I could see.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess for Heaton that most likely there's a family of skeletons dressed around a table and in various states of dress.
Yeah.
Probably Victorian times, and it used to be real people.
No, I like this. So this scenario is sort of like it's like if Jimmy Stewart starred in Bates Motel.
Exactly.
See, I'm going to offer a lighter one. I think it's arrested for breaking into the courthouse where you were trying to forge the pedigree on your birth certificate so you came from a better family.
Yeah. No, I break in and I'm like, Heaton asterisk, not the Heatons from Oklahoma, the Heatons from Kennebunkport. Like I don't change the surname. I'm just like very clear. We're from a higher caliber ring of the family.
Yeah, or forging an international passport. It all kind of fits.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's it's lucky that the police were able to find this guy, because you said that they were going after the bubbles, and the lake's name is Lake Shasta. So there had to be a lot of bubbles in that lake. And that's my pun for the day.
I bet the cops had a field day with that on the way back. Like, whoever was driving him was like, "Hey, man, you like cherry?" Hold on. We'll get it on the next one. But, Shasta, yeah. You derailed my segue. I was going to say, speaking of international passports, Young, you derailed it for a carbonated pun. I hope you're happy.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking of the other day, Andrew? International passports.
Nice. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for being a supportive friend.
Cool.
Yes, Nick, you know what? Actually, so was I, because the next story is Sweden thought Russia was invading their water via submarines for 15 years. Turns out it was the farts of large schools of herring. This was an involved story. It actually had a lot of ins and outs to it, but the long and the story short is that in the 1980s, the Swedish... No, actually, it's later than that. In the 1980s, a Soviet submarine actually ran ashore in Swedish waters, got stuck, and the Swedes, being really friendly Northern European nice people, actually came out and got a jack and helped shove the Soviet submarine back into the water, which is actually really nice to do that when people are spying on you or got lost. But they were paranoid after that.
They were kind of proving that they're neutral.
Yeah, exactly.
Their whole thing is always just no, we told you we were neutral.
Yeah.
We'll show you.
When you guys
Let's
talk
just help
to
you out.
Gorbachev, you be sure to tell him that the Swedes didn't get mad when you ran aground.
That's what I say to whales whenever I de-beach them as well. Listen, I'm neutral, but hop back into the water.
Yeah. I don't know what. I'm not on Team Shark or on Team Whale. I just don't want things on my beach. I just want to be left out of this. I just want to have my beach party. So they're paranoid for a while moving forward, because they're apparently there's Soviet subs in our waters. Soviet Union collapses. They're done. It's now Russia, and all of a sudden these indications, these sounds, start happening around the waters of Sweden, and the whole Swedish Navy is annually looking at this, and it keeps going on, and they're getting more and more angry because they're this is so impudent, impudent. The Russians are violating our water. They're doing it at a weird time. Why would Russia invade us now when their empire just collapsed? That doesn't seem like a good time. And they're getting more and more angry, and finally I don't know what they have over there, a prime number or a chancellor or the arch Swede.
Did you say a prime number?
Prime number.
He did say prime.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've elected 7.
So the Swedish prime number, Sven Jorgensen, calls up Russia and is hey, you need to keep a better and actually I believe the wording is because he'd already talked to Yeltsin multiple times, and Yeltsin had been I am promising you we are not sending our submarines into Swedish waters. And so he called him to tongue lash him of you need to keep a better grip on your Navy, because I believe you that you're not sending them over, but they're getting over here. And then they finally rope in the scientist who listens to the sound, and he's that's weird. It should sound like a ping, but it sounds very organic. And so he and the other scientist he works with get a bunch of herrings and dump them in a fish tank and listen to it, and they're that's it. It's literally just a giant swarm of herrings, a school of herrings that are farting, that has been misinterpreted by their government. And my not a lot of thoughts on this. I really now want to see the Swedes remake The Hunt for Red October, where the whole thing turns out to be a farting whale. I think that would be a cool movie.
Do we think that it was actually probably farting fish or Matthew Piercy?
Yeah, on his device.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that was his plan all along. There's a tunnel from Lake Shasta.
He knew it. He just couldn't get there. He didn't have enough time.
Yeah. If he'd done it though, he's no one knows my secret identity as a Russian. I don't know what he was doing over there in the early 90s. But yeah, if he just made it.
Damn it.
Do you think there's a possibility that all unidentified objects are farts?
You mean
like they always
flying
say that,
objects in the sky are also herrings?
Yeah.
Yes,
No, well, not
I think
herrings,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah, because they always say, "Ooh, it's weather balloons or gas." Maybe it is in fact gas, and they're not lying to us. It's just bird farts.
Wait, you're telling me that this actually probably was a red herring?
Oh my God, yes.
No. How did I miss that one?
Oh man,
I don't know how I missed it for so long. I don't know.
Sperdute, thank you. Like truly thank you, because every week I get very well-meaning responses from the audience. It's like, how did you not take this low-hanging fruit?
How did you miss that?
And that is one that we absolutely would have got feedback on. I'm glad that you hit that. Well done. I don't even like puns, but I'm just
furious with
impressed.
myself. I am so
I'm
mad
mad
at
me.
myself.
Honestly, the fact that we got through like 2 minutes of that story and I had nothing there.
Yeah. Kudos there. Pardon, sorry. I'm drinking Shasta.
Are you making subs?
Yeah, Young, that's our new code word of hey, I'm gonna walk out of the room for a minute. I gotta go sub. I do think about situations where if we'd had World War III, what's the dumbest possible way we could have kicked it off? And I feel like this might have been it, if like herring farts had been misinterpreted as a nuclear sub, and that had somehow like spiraled out of control into a hot conflict with Russia.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't have a better one than that.
Yeah, Well, hey,
it's actually seems possible.
Also, you know what we know? We now know we can really push Sweden around. Like, I didn't know that previously, but we know that if we've got a submarine, that they'll help us, de-rocket from their island, and then they might get mad at the president, but it'll take them a while. They'll have to really build up some steam. So it's like when you got like a noisy neighbor, and you're just like, man, if they're still noisy in 45 minutes, I'm going to give them a talking to, right? And you're like, and you just have to like psych yourself up to do it. That's Sweden.
I've actually seen you do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That I try to be nice. I try to be stoic. I am nice. Like an outright fascist about noise. I just like, no, I am not okay with it. I am not okay with your dumbass externalities coming into my place. When I lived in Astoria, there were neighbors underneath me that were listening to some kind of international sports game, and so they were like loudly cheering at 4 a.m. And I went down and like yelled at them, and then they like quieted down for an hour, and then they started doing it again at 5:30, and I came back with a clipboard, and I was like, "What are your names?" And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Give me your goddamn names." And then they just backed up, and they literally moved away a week later. And I'm glad. They were horrible people. I wish them nothing but misery.
The good thing to know is that Andrew is definitely a fascist about sound.
Yeah. There's nothing that would indicate that you're a fascist about other things, like showing up with a clipboard to people watching an international game where they're going to think that you're INS.
or the fact that I'm wearing a dressing gown right now. Like this is the kind of thing an Argentinian dictator would wear in his spare time. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, this is raising some disturbing questions about me. Okay, well, to get out of that heat, we're going to move on to a different story. Hey, we were talking about Russia. Let's keep talking about Russia, huh?
Yay.
Russia builds replica World War II prison camp for kids. A Russian nonprofit organization has built a replica World War II prison camp through a presidential grant for children's patriotic education. Local media in northern Russia has reported. It's on Karelia. It's on the Finnish border, and I'm confused as to who it was a prison camp for. I think that it was like for kids. Fleeing. No, that's the current thing, Nick.
It said it's a prison camp for kids, Andrew. Clearly, they just rebuilt it.
Okay, yeah. Because it was when I sent this to you, I thought that it was a refugee camp that the Finns had built for fleeing Russians during the war, but it now looks like it was an actual situation. Either way, I'll just say this: I don't know about the underlining World War II situation at the time, but honestly, this sounds really cool for kids. Like the writer clearly made it sound like this was like a horrible thing. Like the fact that it's in one of these wacky news stories. Like if I were a 10-year-old and they're like, "Do you want to go to the ball pit or like play war at the guard tower?" I'm sorry, it's just objectively cooler.
Yeah,
this is not helping my fascist thing, is it? This is really not helping me.
That is really just forcing you in there a little deeper.
I saw in the article that it says, we hope to see former prisoners here as well. They'll be able to share their memories with the children, as though bringing people back to a prison camp is going to be like just a fun time for them.
Yeah.
I mean, people like in Germany, you can go to concentration camps that are still there, but like to see it in reverence. and to like and like feel for what happened in the moment, not like host a birthday party.
Yeah, they're not going to give you
Right.
a crown
For
and
12-year-olds.
balloons.
Yeah, they're never celebratory. Wait, could you guys? Okay, I know that I sound like an idiot now. Can you tell who it was for? Because I originally thought that it was like a refugee camp, but now I'm gathering that it was not. I'm gathering it was far more sinister, and I don't know
The
who was.
original, it says, okay, the Finns had set up an army to collect civilians fleeing the front lines.
Okay.
So I think what it might have been. Well, no.
So it's not in Finland now. The Finns, it was like Finnish territory at the time.
Yeah, but weren't the Finns part of? Were the Finns part of the Soviet Union?
No, I think the Finns were neutral, but like tipped towards Russia. They were like officially neutral, but kind of like still buddies with Russia. I believe that's how they were during the Cold War.
Maybe it is refugee, but because I was going to say maybe it was to catch like Soviets that were trying to get out of Russia.
Which sounds like a Soviet thing to do. Of like things are really bad here, rather than A, fixing these things, or B, letting people leave the terrible things. We should build prison camps to punish the people for trying to get away. Yeah.
I also think it's funny that the Finnish were like, yeah, we'll build a prison camp for all your escaped prisoners. We'll help you catch all those people. And the Swedes were giving them side eye about farts.
Man, shots fired. Yeah, Sweden's clearly a better country than Finland based off of the last 23 minutes of conversation. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. I mean, it's nice that they have... I do like wartime history stuff. I just don't know... I guess as a child, I would want to see that. I don't know that I'd want to hang out for a day. I think I'd be like...
if I might correct something here, I originally thought this was like a military fort, and I'm like, that's cool. If it was like a defensive barrier,
it says guard towers, barracks, and barbed wire.
Yeah, but the prison camp bit, I don't think would be fun for a kid. I'm like, oh, that's far more dark.
In reading the actual article, it says historians say around 4,000 Soviet civilians, including children, women, and the elderly, perished in the several transfer camps that Finland opened between 41 and 44. This is one of those camps.
So it might be... Wait,
so this was the Finnish version of the wall? Like the Finns had been we don't want Russians in our country.
It's not incredibly clear. It does say, like you said, Young, I think, it says barracks and barbed wire that Finland's army set up for Soviet civilians fleeing the front lines, but it doesn't say.
It also said a lot of people died there.
Man, this was a poor choice. I apologize to both of you and to the listeners for picking this. I was just like, oh man, a fort. That'd be fun as a kid. And that is the extent of the research I did of this story. I regret it and I apologize.
It's kind of
No, let's get deeper into why you want us to get into prison camps. No, I don't think we should back down from this. Let's hit it head on, man. Come on. Like the guy under the water or the frickin' fish farts.
Yeah, we're prosecuting you like a wire fraud guy.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to just skip it to the next story, gang.
Oh, God, you know what I could go for? Some pizza.
Thanks, Nick. Perfect. Man, Nick,
cool.
you are sidekicking way harder than Young is. You are...
I will never help you.
Yeah, we've got the sidekick and the chaotic neutral friend. Young, you're like the Frenchman
like
in Les Mis who
Finland.
just steals pocket change from corpses. That's you.
I'm chaotic neutral like Finland.
Yeah. He just keeps pulling you back from the front lines.
Right. One of the people on the podcast / YouTube show is being Sweden right now, and one of the people is being Finland right now. And I don't know what that means, so I'll let you figure it out.
I think I'm Swedish and Nick is Finnish.
Okay.
You're aiding
Either
the
way.
fascist.
Right. Anyway,
true.
I think Nick asked about pizza, so I'm gonna say we do have a story about pizza for you. I'm glad you asked about that.
Good.
You can get an entire free pizza in exchange for your soul in Toronto right now. This is at a shout out Toronto. This is a pizza place called Stormcrow Manor. They're celebrating the launch of their new patio with a delivery concept called Church of Pizza, and you can redeem your soul for $3, and you can pick which of the 7 deadly sins you want to have your soul redeemed for, and then someone brings out a physical golden scroll of absolution along with your pizza pie. The thing that confuses me about this is this does not sound like you are giving your soul in exchange for pizza. It sounds like you are getting an indulgence, like a
Yes.
medieval indulgence, as
you're-
a party favor with your pizza, which is a great deal.
So hold on, Heaton. If in that case, if Stormcrow Manor is Pope Leo X, which pizza places are going to break off led by a Martin Luther pizza joint?
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm like, we should probably have a holy war with Canada. That's my takeaway from this. Is like, just to be safe, we should just go ahead and do a holy war.
Also,
One of the great. Go ahead.
No, I'm surprised that people in Toronto are this gung ho about the deadly sins.
I like the one of the quotes says, "The medieval church did it first, but we're doing it better."
Yep. Man,
funny.
leave it to Canadian pizza enterprises to just take the foundations of Catholicism and really improve them. It's just they always really knock that out of the park.
At least
You know,
it's all
speaking
at
of-
least it's Italian, so they're all kind of in theme, right?
That's okay. That's a good point. Yeah, you're
might be
right. There's some
Roman.
overlap there. There's a Venn diagram.
Sure. What were you gonna say, Nick?
No, I was going to say, speaking of church-based food establishments, there's a place in Pittsburgh called Franctuary, and it was a hot dog establishment built in the bottom of a church, and I just want to recommend it.
That's a
Great
good
hot
name.
dogs.
Nice.
It's called Franctuary. It's the best. Really good stuff.
Man, that sounds really good. I got nothing. Young, can you think of any? We grew up in the same area. Can you think of any religious enclaves that had good food? Outside of like just Sundays,
I mean, the church that you attended as a youth probably had the best food, but
Oh,
only
yeah.
on like a couple nights out of the year where they all brought it in.
the Lebanese food.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, Pascha and an Antiochian church. They know what they're doing. That is like, and they have like all these other groups kind of show up. So because it was an Antiochian. So this is like anybody unfamiliar. Church of Antioch is Arabic Christianity, and but like because there's not a big Ethiopian community in Oklahoma, the Ethiopians are like, can we hang out with you? And they're like, sure. So the Ethiopians would show up with like honey wine and stuff like that, and everybody had great food. It was fantastic, yeah. Because all of the ethnic food I have is potato based or pork based. There's nothing.
You should have pride in that.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, all of my ethnic food is just carnival food that we eventually converted to feed farmers. That's the arc of everything that I grew up with. But they had like
You also grew
flat
up in a
pita bread.
carnival, which we don't
That's
talk
true.
about.
You did grow
That's
up
true.
in a carnival. You
My
grew up in
ethnic
an
group
Irish
is Carney.
carnival.
I didn't specify this. Carney's my ethnic group.
Which is
That
what
was,
you were-
tattoos
which is
are
what
sacred
you
to our
will-
people.
That is what you will break into the courthouse to have changed.
Exactly, yes. Hashtag not part of the Carney Heatons who operate tents and the strongman contest, part of the Kenny Bunkport Heatons that merely work at strip clubs. We are a far more erudite thing.
And now
Yes.
we've mentioned strip clubs, Heat, and you have to take off an article of clothing for your OnlyFans.
Yeah, that is true. That's how that works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. The problem is I'm holding a mic and I have a broken hand, so there's just this is kind of
Just like edge a sock off.
I could try and the
Edge
other
a
thing is that
sock
this
off.
makes no
Just
sense
ed-
with my
just edge a
ensemble,
sock
but
off
I
on me.
am wearing cowboy boots right now, so I can't. There's no way for me to.
Oh, just like you can kind of like push it off.
I can hold on. I'm just
How
gonna.
do you, Heaton? How do you even get cowboy boots on with a broken hand?
It's with getting them on's not the hard part. Getting them off is the hard part. But I've got this cast right. So I asked him. I asked the doctor to put a divot in it so I could still drive a car. So he made a crease for me, and so I get that divot under the heel, and I just swear profusely, and I'm able to get it off. So that's what I've been doing. But it's a whole thing. Like if we were living 300 years ago and I was a part like the top 1%, I would have like a page come in to like remove the boot. It's that difficult.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could
tough
ask
being me.
for a driving divot.
Yeah.
like when-
Yeah. You
that's
can
like
you
when
can
my
make a
70-year-old
request.
Off of my cast.
That's like when have you ever gotten in a car with like a 70 or 80-year-old woman who has like one of those magnifying like sheets in front of their window so that they can see what's up? I did. It was scary.
That's terrifying.
So back to the Carney Heatons of Alva, Oklahoma, from whence I am sprung. I was talking with Uncle Gary and my dad maybe like 5 years ago. It's Thanksgiving, right? We're all hanging out Thanksgiving dinner, and we're all talking about just family stories. And Dad goes, "Oh man, Grandma Bickle, my great grandmother, Grandma Bickle." He's like, "Yeah, Edna Bickle. She was a tough lady. You know, she'd lived through the Great Depression. She went blind at 85, quit driving at 92. She really had an up." And I was like, "Wait, hold on. Dad? Can you go over that timeline again?" And he's like, "Oh yeah. She went blind at 85, but she knew the town really well." And she knew the turns super well, and she would only go to the grocery store. So she would just once a week she'd drive based on memory, and would go get groceries. And like I assumed the rest of the people at Alva would like ring a bell to let everybody know that Edna was on the road. She'd be like knocking over pink flamingos and things. And but yeah, you know, died of natural causes. And so yeah, it all.
What about all those people she hit with her car?
Yeah, they did not die of natural
They died
causes.
from blunt trauma. Yeah, they didn't make it. Well, tell you what, before we finish out, I want to try a new thing on the show because this is the first episode for YouTube. So we'll try a new trick on this.
All right, fine.
No, Nick,
Yeah.
no. Keep your Young, please keep your clothes on. Keep your clothes on. We want to be syncopated. I can't get my boots off, so we're just we'll leave it as it is.
Not that low. Not that low.
Yeah, Young, say something so people can see. As I was saying, Young's jumper only has uptight and sexy mode. There is no
Yeah, so-
intermediate state.
This is sexy, where you can see the delicious hair on my chest.
By God.
That's how that's how my mother describes it. And then this is I am applying for the job at this library.
Yeah, you are.
And also I have sexy hair under here.
You're applying for a job at the library in an LL Bean catalog in Portland. Very, very quick. So okay, before we go, I want to try a new thing, and I'm not sure what the winner's going to get here, but what I want to start doing on the show is at the end of the show, we're all going to vote on one of the locations we've talked about. We all get to put in a vote, and then at the end of next year, I will tabulate who won and who lost, and whoever won, I don't know, maybe I petition to get them an electoral vote, or we do a meetup there, and whoever lost, they get, I don't know, I write them a stern letter. I'm not sure.
So wait, this is for
Can
the
I
actual.
win this?
Yeah, can we win?
Or is this for other people to win?
This is for one of the locations we talked about. So like Russia, Sweden, California,
I understand.
Toronto, Canada, whatever. So whoever you think deserves a point, who do you want to award it to?
Gotcha.
I'll give it to California because I'm here and therefore I win.
Self-serving but fair. So California's on the board.
Also, I just love the Bondian aspect of that story.
Yeah. You know what? I
Is
hate.
Bondian a word?
It's a way of life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was in the manner of James Bond, Bondian.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Nick, what do you think?
Oh, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say specifically. I don't know how specific I can get about this because they're not gonna win because they probably won't be involved in another story. But I'm gonna say specifically, under the water of Lake Shasta.
Well, okay. I actually thought it was a good idea to go with under the water. Like the sea is a I was like that's
You know what?
funny.
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote.
You're specifying it.
Body
like
of water is my choice from now on. Body of water.
Body of water. So okay, good.
That's
So
my
if
vote.
there is a story in Loch Ness, if there is a story at Salt Lake,
Anywhere.
it's
Doesn't matter.
now
Anywhere
clarified.
with a body of water.
A body of water. Okay, cool. All right, body of water. And I am going to pick Turkmenistan because if you guys are game, I would love for you to stick around for one more story that we can do as a bonus for people on Patreon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a great
Wait,
weekend.
we
Thank
have
you
an
for-
option?
Huh?
Yeah, we can
We have
leave.
an option? We don't have to stick around? I thought that was kind of part of it.
You do this every time. I tell
I'm
you.
just saying, 'cause
tell
I
you
wouldn't mind
beforehand
just-
we're going to do this, and then you put me over a barrel and make me sweat. No, you don't have an option. We're doing it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, yeah, I definitely want to stick around. Can't wait. Turkmenistan. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. Yes, we're going to talk about Turkmenistan. Young, are you also in agreement? Are you going to be Sweden or Finland? What are you going to do?
I completely lost track of that metaphor.
Yeah, I don't remember which one was which in this scenario.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Thanks,
I'll
everybody.
stay.
On YouTube,
Actually-
thank you for what? Huh?
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening at home. Everybody have a great weekend. If you're on Patreon, stick around. We'll keep going.